All right, Coach Jordan, I'm looking at the barn and the house where all of this began. How long ago did you start doing camps out of this place?
You know what? I think 17 years ago, I asked my wife if she minded if I built a building. And Zeb, this is where you were at 3 years in a row. And we built a building. I'm pulling it up here at the barn lot. You can barely see the building back there, Zeb, behind the pine trees. And it holds about 20 kids, something like that. And that's when we had porta potties for bathrooms.
Oh, that was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. But you know what? Since then, we've gotten a little bit bigger. I bought a farmhouse down here. It's got a big horse barn on it, and I call that my office. And I also have a camp at Graham High School. We've got a great wrestling room up at Graham High School. We got 4 full mats. So I do my camps mainly out of my office and up at Graham. So
will you do anything out of here anymore?
You know what? That's where my cafeteria is. I got the cooks right there walking out. And I grew up in this house right here after I got married. Lived there for 16 years.
That's where the boys, I remember they grew up in between there with camps going on.
Yep.
Playing in the sandbox, watching wrestling.
That's right. Back when you were at camp, Bo, I think might have been in diapers, and you would wrestle him, and all the other guys would wrestle Bo. And he's grown up a little bit now. And
I wouldn't wrestle him now.
I'd like to see you wrestle him now. So.
I wouldn't. This is where we did the run. This Nettle Creek Road.
And hey, that was one thing you did really good, Zeb. You were always either first or second, if I remember.
I never lost the run.
In every run. Okay, you won the run every time, all right? Your memory's a little bit better than mine, but that run used to be, 3 miles, Zeb?
3 miles, and then you guys scaled it down a little bit.
Well, we scaled it down.
Dangerous.
Yeah, a lot of people drive up and down this country road pretty fast, so we just kind of stay on Neff Road. We run about 1.5 miles in the morning right now.
When you look at the growth, how surprising is the growth of the Jordan train system?
You know what? I never thought that the camp would get this big, but it's just hard work. Kids want to come in. I really don't think they care a lot about the facilities. The wrestlers sleep out on the wrestling mat, sleeping bag and pillow. I do have air conditioning, unlike when you were here at camp. And I do think air conditioning is important. It just holds infection, everything else down, helps the kids sleep between sessions. But it's just a no-frills camp out here surrounded by cornfields, cows, and woods. That's where the camp's at, and there's no distractions. That's what I like about the camp, and that's why I think the camp has grown. Some of the best kids in the country every year come down to my camp, and I've been blessed to have the best kids come to my camp.
When you look at the output of the product that you have, if you look, the direct output, Bo Jordan, the best pound for pound guy on my list, maybe not Willie Saylor's list, but best pound for pound guy in the country, going to Ohio State, 4-time state champ, 3-time Ironman champ. When you look at that, how much better does that make you feel about your camp system when you look at your son to have the success he's had?
Well, he's kind of a product of the camp, and you know what? My son Bo just trains hard, and he was blessed with a little bit of athletic ability. And when you throw hard work into that, you know what? You can get pretty tough.
You got Micah. Micah's coming up. He just committed to Ohio State. He's yet another, example of a product of the camp. How do you feel personally about that? How does that make you feel when you know your kids directly benefited, from your livelihood?
Well, what's great about my job is that God blessed me with 3 boys, and I get to see my boys all the time, all summer long, at my job. Why? Because they're in there training. And my Graham guys, they've got it made. They come in every night. We go live, and they come in for that open mat, so to speak, that live wrestling session, and they get great workouts in. They get to wrestle the best kids all around the country. They get different styles. They get the leg rider. They get the defensive guy. They get the thrower. They get the offensive guy. And you know what? I just think it makes them a complete wrestler. They're kind of spoiled with what the opportunity they have to work.
How good is the Ron McCunn wrestling room? Coach McCunn, your high school coach, the room's named after him. How good is that to be able to have your home facility where they train every day? Guys can come in there and train in the actual Graham room. What's that like?
You know what? It's great that it's named after my high school coach, Coach McCunn. You remember him from way back when, and I think most people know Coach McCunn passed away a couple years ago, right at the end of my camp. and I went down and I saw him in Tennessee, and right before he passed, and we named a building after him. And it's just a great high school room. I'm glad it's named after him, and you're going to see it. I think it's one of the best high school rooms in the country, with 4 full mats. We got a weight room in the back, and a hockey wall up, and it's just a great training environment. And I love the site. It's a good one.